about it. These phrases, the live, the rent, the hands, the gestures, everything that we went through as kids. We're gonna talk about it today. What's good? Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. My name is DJ. For those that don't know that are tuning in, this is a live stream, and I got my boy Shade, who's going to dive into this topic of black parenting and the do's and don'ts and the things we had to overcome to become who we are today. Man, I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in.
Hmm. Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. What's Good Family Podcast. I like the name. It's got a good ring to it. It sounds like something that, we definitely need because family ain't always good, as we all know, you know.
Definitely, family is a complicated thing. It definitely is. But before we dive into that, man, I always do this, man. Tell the
Mhm.
audience a little bit about yourself. Who's Shade?
Shade. Okay. Podcaster, father, uh, worker, hard worker, career person. I won't get off into my private affairs, but yes, I got a very good, decent career. Lot going for me, just like a lot of folks out there. But particularly from the shade side of things, I'm really big into podcasting. I've been podcasting for over 2 years now. I love it. It's a good sport, even though I don't believe I'm in competition, but I found it's a lot of competition in the podcast space that I never knew about. So I guess it is somewhat of one, but I do enjoy it. I enjoy connecting with people in my own podcast, which is called the Club Geneva Show. We run that podcast most Fridays around 10 o'clock at night is when I run those podcasts, and we talk about a range of topics. It's cancel culture free. It's a place where anybody can, join in and be a part of the conversation. Not only be a part of the conversation, actually be a podcaster themselves. Because I noticed, I'm gonna go off into a tangent just for a quick second. I just want to let people know when I got a little self promo. Yeah, when a brother asked me to do a little promo, I'm gonna promo a little bit, okay? But the thing that the thing about Club Geneva though that I think sets itself different from a lot of other podcasts is that we allow our community to come in and actually be a part of that podcast from the standpoint of doing their own podcast. So I actually open up my studio to people. You can talk about your topics. You can basically it's trial and error. You get a free trial on podcasting. Okay. So I really like the Club Geneva show. I hope you will too. Join in. I'd love to have a conversation with you or let you take my shit over. How about that?
Ah, yes, indeedy. So that brings me to my next question, which just seeing the energy and the excitement that you have for it. I already know the answer, but I gotta ask the question: Is
Go
this
ahead.
a podcasting and everything you do with it? Is it a job or is it a hobby? Is this passion or is this passion and pleasure or is this work and grind?
It's a little bit of everything, man. I don't like to put stamps on things, and I like to do things that I like to do. I'm big on shutting doors if it's something I'm not interested in or something that doesn't excite me. So I can't say it's one way or the other, but it's definitely something that I do find enjoyment doing. But at the same time, work is work. I mean, I do have to put a lot of time into my podcast, a lot of edit time, a lot of thinking, a lot of connecting and networking, a lot of even building these things and destroying them sometimes. I had a few podcasts I had to take down because they went viral for all the wrong reasons. So podcasting is a job, but you must enjoy it in order to become more proficient and love it more. So yes, I do love it.
That's what's up. Well, all right, let's dive off into this topic about black
Let's.
parenting and things
Yep.
that we had to endure. And I don't mean endure in a negative sense. I mean endure in all senses, positive and negative. Because I mean, let's be honest. There's no handbook to parenting, and our parents were no exceptions from the rules of bad parenting and good parenting. One of the biggest catchphrases that sticks to my mind whenever I think about phrases and things that my parents would always do is like they would shut us outside. You know, I remember I remember it was literally, hey, y'all stay outside, don't come inside until beat the street lights on, but don't come back inside. If you're thirsty, drink from the water hose. Like my wife and I always tell people, man, if you drunk from the water hose, you are immune to COVID, you were immune to the plague, you were immune to smallpox, you were
The
immune to
cobwebs. There's always a cobweb around the tip of that hose for some reason, because they had me used a lot. But yeah, you just drank the cobwebs, any animals and bugs that was in there, it didn't matter. But I think that, sorry to cut you off, but I do think that our parents were a little bit smarter than maybe we are as far as things go, because they knew that if they let us stay inside too long, they were going to get the bullcrap that we have today, right? Where kids never even see the sunlight. We're going to have vampire kids in the next 100 years. Kids are going to have pale faces. Their teeth are going to be raggedy and jaggedy from eating candy. And they're going to look very vampirish. So I think our parents were on to stopping our mutation in its tracks. But of course, our generation, we let it happen. So
that.
kudos to our parents.
That is true. I one of the biggest things that I remember is this is grown folks conversation, and you need to go with the other kids. And I feel like today's time we don't have a lot of that. We we're not trying. Well, I know for me, I'm not trying to be my kids' friends, but I do take my kids' input. So in some instances, it's like I could be having a conversation and my kid will naturally pow give me their input, and I'm all like, "Yo, bro, this is you need to go with the kids." This is grown folks talking. So I do think that our parents had the right mindset, but then I feel like we were never taught how to properly introduce ourselves into grown folks conversation when we become the grown ups. What are your
Good
takes?
point. That's a real good point. I'm going to actually just pick on, at least from my perspective, I don't know how anybody else who was African American in this country was raised, but I'm going to pick on Black parents specifically for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because we all know that Timmy, Tommy, and John could say whatever they wanted to around their parents, could talk, could curse, they could know that, we heard it. We were like, what the hell? Like, how can you
Yeah,
say that without all your teeth being gone? Right.
yeah.
I'm going to blame that on our parents. And I'm going to say, why is that a bad thing? Because I really feel like what you just said, articulating a proper response around other adults is something that we were suppressed on, which I really feel like we shouldn't suppress our kids in out of all of our conversations, because we're teaching them as we're not actually raising our children like, we think that raising is like buy you food, like, Black parents say, I put food on the table, I do this, I do that, I do that, and in return, shut the F up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what we're doing is teaching our kids by example. So when we allow our kids into those spaces to talk, when we allow them to raise points and perspectives, positions that we don't necessarily agree on, we're teaching them how to talk to adults, which is why Timmy, Tom, and Johnny, when they get about 18, 19 years old, they shoot right out there and they start talking to adults. They start having conversations. They go in the workforce. They speak their minds in the workforce. I hear this a lot from my wife sometimes. Uh, and a lot of people, it's like, man, people just say anything. And, it's a certain demographic of people and they just say this and they say that. But in my mind, I'm like, they are supposed to, because they should actually be able to talk and speak their minds. Speaking your mind is not a bad thing. And I think Black parents back then, they suppressed us a little bit from having that opportunity. Long story short, sorry. I take shit and I just kind of like, you're going to have to stop me, because I'll run it around the block 5 times just to get to one point. I think that's from podcasting. I never
No,
talked so
you're
much in
doing
my life.
good, bro. You're doing
Okay.
good. I mean, I love it. Me personally, I love this type of dialogue because again, my the people who tune into my podcast, they get to hear my input all the time, and sometimes it's just me. So hearing another person's input, hey, I'm sure this does them right. You know what I'm saying? It's only right that I give you the opportunity to voice your voice your opinion and how you feel about it. But I do agree. I know for me, one of the things that I had to learn was to how to properly articulate myself. See, I not that I was shut down a lot. I was that kid. I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and if a spanking comes along with it, I'm gonna take the spanking. But I got to say what I wanted to say. So I had to learn as an adult. There are some things I should say, but I have to word it properly. Matter of fact, I had a drill sergeant, and I tell my kids this too. I had a drill sergeant who said this, and I quote, he said, "You can call me an a-hole, but depending on how you call me that a-hole is how I'm going to respond to you." That was that was a lesson, like it blew my mind. And so I was that kid. Granted, I'm in the military, I'm 18. I was that 18. So drill sergeant, you're telling me I can call you boom. And I said it. I said it just to see what he was gonna do. He was all like, okay, you said it, now beat your face. So I'm doing push-ups. I'm
Mhm.
like, see, Drill Sergeant, you responded just how I thought you were gonna respond. He said, but you said it just how I thought you were gonna say it. And like, I was over there like, oh, okay. So if I dress it up and make it sound cute, he's like, then I may not respond to you the same way. I was like,
Hmm.
you're on to something.
That's weird. I didn't know it was better ways to say that, but I guess drill sergeants can come up with anything when they got all that power and control over you. Either way it goes, you're probably gonna get punished. So what's the real? You're gonna get it wrong no matter what with a drill sergeant. Um, how many ways did you get spanked, man? I know more. I knew more ways. I had different. I knew more about different forms of whipping and whooping than I knew about actually like different ways of communicating with adults when I got older. And that's weird, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
I got, let's see, there was the belt. I got spanked with a shoe. Got spanked with a
Yep,
paddle.
shoes. I got
Uh,
paddle.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you never
See,
got the you never got the extension cord.
no, 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 no. My,
You
my
never
first,
got the smallest you never got the smallest twig on the tree. And if you
yes,
bought the biggest one,
I did get that.
okay.
Yeah.
I
Matter of
got the
fact,
lawnmower cord, but I deserved it.
matter of fact, yeah. Matter of fact, my nana had a half a belt, and it was just a half a belt sitting up under her pew at the church we were going to whenever I was a kid. And I promise you, that belt was like she had that belt for God knows how long. But anytime
Mm,
we were falling asleep at church. Pow! Anytime
mm,
we were talking too much at church. Pow! Pay attention. You know, it was
okay.
it was so funny, man. I used to want to go to when I would go visit my dad on the weekend. I used to want to go to church with my dad because my dad's church, granted, you had to go there early, but you got out early. So, like, versus
Right.
staying there until 12, 1 o'clock, you're out by 11, 12 o'clock. That leaves the whole day to go have fun.
Right. Right.
Grandma's church was, oh man, you're there, you're there till possibly the rooster start, till the sun starts to set. Heck, I know my mom's church was like that too. You're there till the rooster start to set. So you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So I I was disciplined a lot in church because hey, at this day and age, we didn't really how do I word it? We didn't really talk about it, but I had ADHD. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I was a very hyper kid. So sitting down listening to somebody go 100 times, I'm the kid that's sitting up there. Yo, let's count how many times he's gonna go and
Right.
start laughing about it. You know what I'm saying? So
So you got whipped. So you got whipped for a diagnosis, right?
that I I won't say I got whipped for a night.
You,
Yeah,
you got whipped for having a disease, I guess. Yeah. It's okay. That was fine back then. Nobody knew if you had Down syndrome or ADHD. It was all the same. You just got whooped for it. Now here's the big question: which belt did you prefer? The big belts, which are like Tyrannosaurus, right?
hmm.
Or do you prefer did you prefer the Stinger, which is like Velociraptors? I don't know which one is the worst death. What's the worst death here?
I'm
Maybe ladies can let us. Nah, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm my personal opinion, and this is just me. I would take the wide belt over the little belt any day because the little belt had that. You know what I'm saying? So it stung, but the wide belt was just kind of like it takes a lot to swing the wide belt, so it ain't gonna be as you ain't gonna get as much. But whenever they can the belt goes with the hand.
That's what I
You know,
told my wife. Would you prefer the Tyrannosaurus Rex or the Velociraptor? The Velociraptor gonna get you a bunch of times. T Rex only gonna slam down about twice.
yeah,
Okay. Nah, that's a little offbeat joke. Go ahead. Some
nah,
people will get it. Go ahead.
we will. I mean, I'm a firm believer. If we can't laugh about this stuff, I mean, I made it. I tell anybody who thinks that corporal punishment or spankings is, oh my god, it's so barbaric. It's the horrible thing. It's the worst thing you could ever do to your kid. Spanking your kid. I tell people I'm fine. Spanking taught me, spanking out of love and discipline teaches you boundaries. Sometimes some kids are from the show me state. It's no different than that kid that touches fire. Granted, you can tell your kid all you want to. Don't touch fire. Don't touch fire. Don't touch fire. It's gonna burn you. It's gonna burn you. It's gonna burn you. But you got that one kid that's like, hmm. You're like, don't do it, don't do it, and they're just like, hmm. You're like, stop, hmm. And then it's not till they actually touch it,
Right.
get burned by it, then it's like, okay, now I don't want to. Spankings teach boundaries. So I tell anybody who feels spankings is just so barbaric, it teaches boundaries. You know,
Well, it can't be barbaric because I mean, since the dawn of man, kids been getting their ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just the funniest thing is like nowadays people believe that it's so bad, right? They feel
hmm.
like getting spankings are the worst thing ever to the point where when these kids these days will call the police on their parents for whipping them. And I'm not talking about, it's a difference between a beating and a whipping. I mean, it's a certain point where they are pretty close. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like when I got that whipping with that lawnmower cord, man, that was ridiculous because I couldn't even put the blanket on because the fiberglass got stuck in my butt. So I couldn't pull the blanket on because it was burning. It's that nothing's worse than that fiberglass ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? It was burning. And yeah, it was horrible. It was so bad. I remember the blanket, and it happened when I was like 13. I remember the blanket I tried to pull over. I could still
yeah,
see the textures in it. So it was remarkable. But the thing is, the police will come out and give you a misdemeanor or a felony for whooping your kids, but at the same time, the state the state will give you corporal punishment. It's weird. Like whoopings stop kids from thinking that there's no punishment. And when you stop whipping kids, they have no boundaries, and then they could end up in prison or
hmm.
corporal punishment, the death penalty or dead, I mean, well, I guess the capital punishment is death. Or 100. That's the funny thing. Like when they tell you in jail, when you get in trouble and they say like, you did something heinous and they like, oh, you got 155 years. I'm never gonna see that through anyway. That always cracks me up when they say, "What does that even mean?" Like,
Right.
what type of punishment is that? You give me 100, you give me 350 years. Well, I'm only gonna serve about another 30 of these anyway, 40, at the best. So it's funny, but yeah, like this, it's a position there. Like the same state that will get a parent in trouble for a whooping will take a adult that didn't get whooped and send them to prison. It makes no sense to me from a
Yeah,
societal standpoint. I think it should be explored.
it really should. Because I mean, just even touching base on what you just said, like you got a double life sentence. So like, does that mean whenever I reincarnate, you're gonna find me and arrest me? I mean, I'm just trying to understand so that way I know when I go before God and He sends me back to Earth, I'm gonna have to tell Him, hey God, whatever, I'm gonna need that mark on me, take it off. I don't want to go back to jail. You
Yeah,
come
I
out.
yeah. I think you get reincarnated right back to the point you were where you get ready to call the police on your parents. You know what I'm saying? And you put it down and you stand up, you pull your pants down, and just lay on the bed and say, "Yeah, I'd rather just get this ass whooping than going to jail for 400 years." So yeah.
Yo, I got a question. I got a question. So, if if I got a double life sentence, right,
Hmm.
and I die and they resuscitate me, like I'm actually dead. They pronounce me dead, then I come back to life, and then I die again. They pronounce me dead again, and I come back to life. And did I serve my complete sentences? Because technically, I died.
It's been a few cases where a person was strapped into the electric chair or given the injection, lethal injection, or I think even hanging too, where once they've completed it and the doctor does the check, they confirm you dead, and then that person, well, for the new age, let's call it respawn, because everybody plays video games, right? So you get another man, you get another man, right?
Yeah.
So you respawn right where you fell at, and they actually can't do it again because they have to actually call the prosecutor or work it out within the system to see if you've served that punishment. Oftentimes, I think you have to still get the lethal injection, but there's this pause point where they have to actually like figure out this thing like, okay, we killed him, but he didn't die. Well, we killed him and he respawned. So I think it's up. I don't know if anyone has ever made it through that or not and actually got to be free, but I know there's a pause point. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I would say fantastic with just imagination. I would say like you serve your punishment, you're reincarnated. You probably come back as something horrible to serve the rest of your punishment, right? You probably come back as like a chicken in a factory or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Or there's a lot of things you can come back as that you don't want to come back as. But anyway, I don't want to jump off topic, but yeah.
Nah, that was a nice little segue for those that are just jumping in. Yes, we're talking about how spankings and all this could have been prevented. Well, everything you just heard could have been prevented by a spanking, a simple.
Yeah. A lot of things can be prevented with good parenting,
Oh yeah,
so definitely.
man. Hold on, let me bring up another one.
Once you get
Let me bring up another one. But look, ooh, ooh, this is one of my household favorites. One of my household favorites. You better eat what's on your plate. There's hungry kids in Ethiopia.
oh yeah, the kids with the flies. Yep.
You better
Yep.
eat what's on that plate, man. Look, I tell my look, I tell my kids now. I don't have that problem because my kids will literally eat anything, and I'm not gonna lie. My wife is a phenomenal cook. Not saying I can't cook, but my wife is a very phenomenal cook. Like she makes macaroni, bro. Her One of my favorite things my wife makes is her macaroni and cheese. And people
Mm,
Now, regardless of what people say, there is a right and wrong way to do macaroni and cheese, and my wife can do it the right way. My dad can do it the right way. Me personally, I do it the wrong way. I tried making
right.
macaroni and cheese, and it was noodles and cheese. Now,
Mm.
I even tried putting the whole seasons in it, and yeah, it just came out like a block of cheese that had noodles in it.
Is
And
hers the 90-year-old? I mean, is hers the 70-year-old black woman macaroni and cheese or the new age macaroni and cheese? It's
man,
some
hers,
the, the new black ladies make it different. So
she
I'm
taught
gonna
me.
say that.
So like she makes a roux. So she'll get like
Mm.
a certain type of cheese and she'll make a roux. I think she'll throw in some heavy whipping cream, and
Yeah,
then
that's 70-year-old mac and cheese right
like
there. That's 70-year-old black woman.
she puts her foot in it. You know what I'm saying? Not literally, but she puts her foot in it. Another thing my wife can make, like my wife can do southern cooking, like she does it justice. Smothered pork chops. Yes,
Mm.
I love my wife's smothered pork chops. Oh my god. Mwah. If she's watching this, honey, I love your
Y'all
smothered.
gonna need Ozempic over there, man. If y'all keep on messing around with her, man, she gonna have y'all on my 500-pound life. Yeah, hey, you see that black dude, like the one who he got that meme where he's eating a Popeye's chicken and he sings about the buttermilk biscuit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite. So yeah, you gotta watch your wife, man. It sounds like at this point she's poisoning you guys.
Man, if it's poison, then it's a very good slow death. But the point that I'm getting at, I said all that to say
Okay.
the point was some of these parents back in the day. I'm sorry, whether you were black, whether you're a black parent, it doesn't matter. If your kid wasn't eating your food 9 times out of 10, probably possibly. I'm not gonna say 9 times out of 10, possibly it wasn't good.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. My mom, she was very good at all types of cooking except baked chicken. I don't know if the ovens were different or not back then, but her baked chicken will always come out like dolphin skin white, right? And I hated it. Okay, so I hated it, and the skin was like wet, So I was like, oh god. So I think she didn't like broil it, like the
Mhm.
top, but it would always come out like gurgly. I was like, oh man, I couldn't stand it, but everything else was magnificent. So yeah, yeah, I remember those days. But our parents, man, not perfect. I just want to hop back to that point. They weren't perfect people. Um, they oftentimes got it wrong, and a lot of things that we don't really realize now that I realize that I'm an adult is like they were kids themselves trying to figure out that. That's what our kids don't realize about us. We're
Mhm.
still pretty much children trying to figure out how to parent. And that's why I like the way the new age is approaching parenting. Even though we can beat it down, we can talk about the problems with it and stuff like that. The kids have more opportunities to engage. Even though they don't always use the opportunities, but when they do, most days these kids can talk, they can speak their minds, and they're very articulate because they've been allowed to do so for so long. And with the invention of the internet, they picked up on a lot of things. They have ideas that we didn't have. They have thoughts that we probably didn't have because we were suppressed. So shout out to the new parents as well. It's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be.
No, it's really not. I mean, when you really look at it, I go off of my kids and the things that my kids have done. I tell my kids this all the time. Our home it is a dictatorship. This is not a democracy. It goes it goes God, Jesus, me, your mom, then y'all. In that order. Now, just because I am leader of the family doesn't mean I'm gonna get it right all the time. So if I'm doing something wrong, or if I've gotten something wrong, don't be afraid to let me know. But again, it goes back to the delivery. How you tell me I'm wrong is gonna determine how I will react to what you're saying. So
So
I have I have I have kids who will they will voice their opinion, and I love that about my kids. If they feel something's unfair, now granted, sometimes I gotta pull it out of them. It's like, yo, come on, bro, like something's bothering you. Talk to me. What's going on? How can we fix it if we don't talk about it? That's one of the biggest things that I push in my household. Especially in trying to break generational curses. We got to have the conversation, and we got to be able to have the unpleasant conversations. And I feel sometimes as parents, we have to be willing to accept the fact that sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we get it wrong.
yeah. So the drill sergeant was right there, right? It's the way you say it. It's the way it's not it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Um, so back to that children in Africa thing. Um, my parents, that I think that was something, I don't know how was in the white community, but definitely in our community, that was huge. That parents said that anytime that you didn't eat your plate, they talked about the children in Africa starving, which was true, which was true. But still, I mean, I do it with my kids to this day. I make really good food, and most people love my food, but my kids, they'll take a few bites. They just not big eaters, you know what I'm saying? And it always like bothers me. So I do actually talk to my daughter and my sons about, other people starving in other places because I mean that's the truth. We throw away a lot of food in this country. I think our parents are right to bring that point up. We throw away a lot of food. You don't have the point. Here's the problem though. I'm gonna pull back. Your parents would make your plates and they expected you to eat what they made on your plate. So it wasn't that you weren't eating the food that they gave you. It was that you didn't get to pick the portion that was given.
Yeah.
So they kind of brought that on themselves. But at the same token, kids should eat. Our parents thought that that's what would nourish us and whatever. I definitely got in trouble for not eating all my food all the time.
See, I feel that argument, but mine was a little bit different because I come from a family of big eaters. So when you send us in there to make the portion, like case in point, I'm gonna use cornbread. I'm gonna use cornbread for instance. It was we would you would get the cornbread. Most people want the ends of the cornbread, so we're sitting up there we're cutting the cornbread up, and we're picking from all different parts of the cornbread because everybody wants an end. I want an end. My brother wants an end. My cousin wants an end. My sister wants an end. There's only four ends of the cornbread.
Mm.
So then arguments start happening. Then my cousin's sister ain't get my little cousin ain't get an end to the cornbread. So now he mad that he didn't get the end. And then such and such is mad that they didn't get the end. And then the adult in the back of the church wants the end of the cornbread. So then I see why I see for at least from my standpoint why they made the plates because that way we weren't arguing over which part of the food we got.
Mm.
Now one of the things I didn't
I
have
guess
to.
I, I was gonna say I didn't realize cornbread had burnt ends, but yeah, I get what
Bro, it gets serious about the ends of the cornbread. That's how you know you got some good food.
hmm
People are arguing over which part of the food they gonna get. Now,
hmm
that's just one of them things.
Well, the one thing about the burnt cornbread is that when it touches like the green juice, like if you're eating greens, it doesn't get as soft as the rest of the cornbread. So I can see the value in a burnt cornbread here. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even like my wife, she makes fried cabbage. There it is, fried cabbage.
fried cabbage, okay.
Fried cabbage and cornbread. Mwah. Yes, yes. Like, well, as far as kids not eating, I would say my 10-year-old and my 3-year-old are more of the culprits of not eating. My 10-year-old, he's more of a texture type person, but then we'll be out like, nah,
hmm
bro, you gonna try it, and then he'll try it, and how you know he likes it, he'll be, this is good, this is good, and then he'll eat it, but we don't overload it. We don't like throw a big a big scoop of it. We just, oh, you need to try it, bro. You gonna try some of this. My three
hmm
year old, oh yeah, bro, that's just too much. Yeah.
You sound like you're in the Matrix right now, man. That's why I'm over here giggling. I don't know if it's a double feed on my end or yours, but
Oh,
you got
I'm not sure.
you. It might be fine, but that's why I'm over here cracking up. I'm like, man, this is you got that whole robotic talk and everything. And so
Oh,
I can hear you though. I'm gonna say that's why I'm looking weird over here laughing at nothing, nothing. So, but
so
yeah,
that's what I was saying. I thought I was hitting.
you
Home.
was you was hitting it, man. You was hitting it a lot better than what I hit. My last little side joke didn't go anywhere, man. It fell flat as hell, so it's all good. You win some and you lose some.
Shoot.
I wouldn't fix anything. You're probably totally fine. It's just on my end. It's probably because I'm in my studio and maybe my Wi-Fi ain't connected. It's good. It's all good. I can hear you just fine, though, brother.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But nah, man. One of the things, bro, I will say this. One of the things that I remember most about my parents is when we got in trouble. Oh God, man, my mom would hit me. You see my lips moving, boy. Don't you know I'm talking to you? You ain't gonna respond. And it's like one of those. Okay, let me think of how I need to respond to this. Because if I go, if I go straight for the gusto, I'm gonna get
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna get a punch thrusto in my in my.
Yeah.
But if I deviate from the truth a little bit, then I'm gonna be in more trouble because then I didn't tell the whole truth. So it's like, how do you want me to respond? I remember I asked my mama that one time. I said, Mama, and I said with my chest out too. What answer do you want me to tell you? Boy, that was the wrong.
So are you out? So are you off the bone? Huh?
Boy, that was the wrong thing for me to say.
Mm. Which okay, so when you get these whoopings, that belt didn't have any like directional control. It was almost like our parents' elbow was on like a swivel.
Yeah.
Cause that belt, man, I once got caught a belt the wrong way down my ass. like like I got hit under my arm once. Like how did I get hit under my arm? You know what I'm saying? They didn't care where that belt went, dude. You could have got your feet whipped. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter. That belt was just swinging, man, to and fro.
Yes, it was. Man, I'm
I
telling
got
you.
I got smart though. My When I knew I was getting a whooping, I
Mm-hmm.
would throw on three extra underwear, and I would throw on an extra pair of pants, and I would act like I was getting whooped hard. And
Not the extra clothes. You didn't do the extra clothes. Don't tell me you did the extra clothes.
I did the extra clothes. Uh, my parents weren't the type to be like, some parents would be like that. I think that's cruel. Where they like, you gonna get a whooping when your underwear. That's horrible. That's like whipping your skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely got smart. So whippings will teach you to be a little bit savvy too with the punishment. Because I definitely had on extra pairs of clothes for the most part, and I
Yeah.
felt like I won at the end.
Yeah. I got a whooping in my drawers. I was. Yeah. There was no outsmarting that one. And like,
Hmm.
man, I remember each one of my parents' signature moves. So my grandma had the belt. My nana had the little belt. My Meemaw, she would tell you, I gotta whoop you because if I don't whoop you, God's gonna whoop me for not correcting you. So you're gonna get a whooping. My grandpa, my Meemaw's husband, he had the signature. Wrap it around your hand, pull it to the
Oh my,
wrap it
the
around your hand,
dramatics,
pull it
the
to
dramatics. Jesus, that's a whole podcast right there.
my dad wasn't really too much into whoopings, but if he had to whoop you, he would always have the belt in his hand and he would always be crossed out like this, and he would talk to you first and then he would whoop you. Now my mom, oh God, my mom was she was straight thug with it. She'll give me that belt, yaka 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 yaka. So I'm like,
She had you by the
Mom,
arm like this. Did she have you by the arm like this?
yeah.
Going around the world with you? Yeah.
Man, and then I remember one time, man, I called myself being mouthy to my mama, and we had stairs in where we were staying at. So I was like, and I don't remember what I said, but she said, "Excuse me." She took her high heel, and as I was making the corner to go into my room upstairs, the shoe bent the corner like it did the Matrix, like, and then it was bring me back my shoe.
Yeah, those pumps are basically boomerangs if you look at them anyway. So they definitely could turn a corner.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. Like again, it wasn't funny for me back then, but to me now is finding it hilarious because because it taught me a lot. But also with my kids now, I'm on the level of like I have two 18-year olds. So, with them it's like, hey bro, let's talk. What's on your mind? I want to make sure I equip y'all enough to carefully articulate yourself, to carefully be able to verbalize what's bothering you, what's ailing you as you go into the real world. Because the real world ain't gonna, they're not gonna be as sympathetic or as caring as I am. You know,
Mhm.
so even so with all my kids, that's one of the biggest things I preach to them. Let's talk about it. Let's hash it out. Whatever it is,
Mhm.
let's hash it out. Let's get to some type of common ground. If there's something you don't understand, ask the question. I tell my kids all the time, there's no such thing as dumb questions. There's just stupid answers.
Mhm.
Contrary to popular belief, there are, you know, I have been asked some questions where it's like, hmm, there's no dumb question, but are you serious with this question?
Yeah. I mean, Donald Trump just got asked that stupid answer by that reporter, and he went nuts on live TV. So when you said that, I was thinking like, yeah, did you watch that where the reporter? It was like at some sport event, and the reporter asked about Iran, and he just looks at him and he goes, "I like you, but that was a stupid answer. That was the stupidest answer I've ever heard in my life." Uh, he sounds like a parent. I didn't know white people talk like that. So little Baron Trump must have had it bad when he was growing up. The way his dad responds to everything. So
Yo,
Trump might be right. He might be the first black president, like a lot of people say.
I don't, I don't know. I mean, I, mm, you know what? I've always been
You
taught.
can't be scared, man. You can't be scared, man. You got to
I'm
talk
not.
about it.
I'll say what I gotta say. I feel you. I would never equate Trump to being the first black president because the man is dumb. The man
I
is an idiot.
I I I agree. I agree, but it's just the cliche that people have said that
Yeah.
because of his responses, he does kind of have like he does have a little bit of soul in his responses, a little bit of black energy in his responses. You could tell he's hung around us in the past, the way
Yeah.
he responds.
He don't
Now
know.
that doesn't mean now that doesn't mean that we sound like him,
Mm-hmm.
but there are some points where you're like, okay, some of his responses. But I agree, he is not the first black president, but it is funny to say. Life
Yo,
is about humor.
if he hung around us, he hung around the us's that didn't have answers to a lot of questions because it's like, bro, like, come on, some of these questions are not that hard, bro. It's a very simplistic question. Like, why are you blowing up like this? Oh wait, because you don't have an answer. It's okay. It's okay to say, hey, I don't know. I
and
just
he comes across as a brat to me. Not a he just comes across to me as a spoiled brat. That's how I look at him. That is what a spoiled rich brat looks like when they turn 80 years old. That's what I will say.
when the world's been when you've been told the world is your oyster and you are something special within this world, that's you know and none of the rules that apply to the common folk apply to you, you get that's what you get. And
I think I think we need to teach our kids to be like that to some degree. I'm not saying all the negative stuff,
mm,
but there's something good in everything.
mm-hmm.
And having a large amount of self-esteem and a large amount of I don't give a crap, as you can see, plays very well in certain sectors of the business world, certain sectors of uh, different, just to say, different areas of our culture that flourishes. You know what I'm saying? So that is a tool in the toolbox that we should be teaching our kids. Because if this dude, the president, don't give a crap, you have the right to say you have the right not give a crap too sometimes. Okay, so that's one thing I will say.
I agree with that. Teaching our kids to have a high level of self esteem, yes. but we have to be sure to teach them not to cross the line into arrogance. And I feel they're the very fine line between the two, between having the self esteem and having the not give a crap attitude, but then being arrogant. You know, I I'll use my kids for instance. You know, my my both my daughters are nationally ranked in track and field. They're nationally ranked in the sport in shot put and discus, and
Okay.
they're power hitters. You know, I'm not gonna say their name because I don't want to mess up nothing they got, but they're power hitters. But like I tell them all the time, and my wife tells them, just because you're coming in at the top dog doesn't mean you're exempt from being taken out by an underdog. You know, so you got to come in there and you know treat every track meet like it's an important track meet. Treat everything you do when you're doing this sport as if there's somebody out. You know, there's somebody in this track meet that's coming for your spot. You know, walk in there with confidence, knowing that you are the top dog coming in there. But keep in mind that heavy is the head that wears the crown. And believe me, people love a come up story. And if somebody can sit up there and say, "Hey, I took out the top dog," you know, you don't want that.
Well, at the top of sports, though, it is arrogance. The people who are the high ranked players are very arrogant for the most part. I mean, Michael Jordan was the most arrogant basketball player ever, to my knowledge. From
Mm-hmm.
at least in my era, he definitely was the top. And when you hear, when you get to hear what is it, 30-30 stories or whatever on ESPN, I forgot the name of it. But when you hear the back end of like how he behaved and his antics and stuff like that, I mean, in sports, that is an arena where arrogance, which is why I even brought up Donald Trump in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
Just in sectors, those are tools for the toolbox to be used. Because if not, then you just become a passive player in everything. If you don't ever speak up and speak highly of yourself, and even though, we all can fail, Jordan lost a lot of games, he didn't win every one of them. So failure is there, but you just somehow in your brain, you got to keep that up, that I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. No one's better than me. So, I mean, arrogance in sports might be okay. You don't think so?
I think it is. I again, arrogance with a little bit of humility. You know, stay humble. You know, that's just one of my biggest things. Stay humble. You know, because you never know who got your ticket. And the reason I say that is because you know track and field. I know more about track and field than the other sports. Track and field is a beast. It's a team sport, but it's an individual sport. So
Definitely.
it gets grimy. You know, like we were watching one of our daughters at a track meet, and it was a dog fight. Like they were putting out numbers. Like it was like 39, 40, 39, 39.5, 40 point. Like they were throwing, and this is shot putting. They're throwing numbers, and then this one girl comes and launches a 45. You know, now granted, she won the track meet. Don't get me wrong, she took first place, but the 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 arrogance, I'll say that the arrogance that showed was very unsportsmanlike. So when you're doing this, you're doing shot put and discus, and you're doing these track and field events, you never know who's watching. So yeah, it's cool to be I'm the best, but when it gets to that level of arrogance where you're cussing and you're can't nobody f with me, and I'm the best, and I'm the what coach is gonna want to recruit that type of behavior? You-
Arrogant coach.
that- that-
You're either gonna be famous or you're gonna be infamous. Jordan, after a certain point in time, he became infamous,
yeah.
and Scottie Pippen was famous. Scottie Pippen, the more passive player, but some will argue Scottie Pippen was just as good as Jordan, but just because of Jordan being such a heavy, hard hitting, crap talking,
Mm,
uh, sometimes, okay, Dennis Rodman. He got way more success than Scottie Pippen as far as like being in popular culture because he was infamous. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get what I totally get what you're saying. I mean, and I know we do have some very good players who do not cross those lines, especially in other sports, and even in basketball. I mean, like, but like if you think about in women's sports, you know, Venus, Serena Williams, they always seem humble with the win.
Hmm.
You know, Coco Jones, very humble with the win. Even you know Tiger Woods, he was very humble with the way he won. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know in our culture these days with the invention of the internet that it's going to be a lot of room for people like that because everything is about being infamous.
Yeah.
Everything is about that. There's no more compassion. There's no more. It's scorched the earth with people. Look at podcasting. I mean, the only people who really get the most views in podcasting are the people who talk the most crap. The people who are unapologetic. The people like me and you. We could get 100,000 likes right now.
Hmm.
Okay, all we have to do is go hard at each other and not care. Right?
Yeah.
Push back on everything. Compete instead of have a conversation. I don't know if that's going to exist for a lot of different places in the future. I don't know. I mean, a lot of different positions in the future.
I mean, people people love confrontation. I mean, think
I
about it.
do.
People, I mean, we watch UFC, we watch boxing. Hockey is a very infamous sport. Not because I guarantee you, there's a lot of people who love hockey, but most people watch. I know for me, I watch hockey because shoot, they get the brawl. Let them fight it out. People love confrontation. So I already knew coming into the podcasting game that was going to be one of the biggest hurdles that I was going to have to overcome was because I'm not coming in confrontational. I'm not coming in talking mess about the next man. I'm not coming in, giving my 2 cents in. I'm coming in on a motivational, inspirational aspect. So I want to that's the brand I'm trying to establish. Even with us talking politics, I try to stray away, not necessarily stray away from it, but I try to do it in a very controlled manner because I don't want nobody to I don't want nobody to associate me with being for the left or for the right because I'm independent. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. But in this day and age that we live in, we're calling a spade means that you're batting for the other team. It's like, yo, bro, like really? Like I've met people who, if you don't see things the way I see it, if you don't view it the way I view it, you're my enemy. I'm like, no, I just got a different opinion than you and a different viewpoint than you. That doesn't make me your enemy. It just means that our our opinions differ.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, I say if you say I'm your enemy, I guess I am now. I guess I have to be since you said it. You know, I mean, I don't want to be anybody's enemy, but um, I I'm not going to fight to be a person's friend. Definitely, you know, it's just like, hey, if you say I'm your enemy, I guess we're just enemies now. Cool. You know, sucks for you.
Could have had a good friend. Now I'm gonna make it a
Could have.
point to
You could have
destroy
had a
it.
bestie. Yeah, you could have had a bestie if you wanted to. But you know, a sidebar. I know we talk about black parenting, and we kind of got off a little bit, but I thought about this as you were saying it. Hockey versus basketball, or even NFL. Right? They both wear padding, similar
Hmm.
padding. Um, to me, man, that is a great, like, almost magnifying glass into our culture and society when I'm talking about from the point of perspectives of what African American people do versus what other cultures do, other races do.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is in hockey, you can fight it out. Everybody is just like, great, they're fighting. It's nothing, right?
Hmm.
But when you look at the NFL, when they fight, it's like this huge deal where everybody is getting fined and people are talking about is a sportsmanlike conduct. There are always rules for us, not rules for them. They remove the rules for themselves. But on that end, and I'm not getting a race theory or anything like that. But it's something to think about. You got a majority white league, and they can fight and knock each other's teeth out. You know what I'm saying? Then you got a black league, and it's like they can't even hit the quarterback dead on. It makes no sense, man.
No, I get the point you're making, bro. Now that you're pointing it out, it's like I never looked at it like that. Like
Yeah.
that's a very interesting way to look at it. I mean, they're both sports, so how is one unsportsmanlike conduct for one, but this other sport, it's we glorify it.
It's like the thing I thought about too. Like, okay, like we are gang members. I'm just talking about when people make that analogy, thugs, right?
Mhm.
And we do a lot of crimes and kill each other. But we had a whole mafia that was running for 100+ years that was now is like glorified in culture, right? Mob movies everywhere, and people love them. Scorsese, ooh, wow, so it's going to be a great mob movie. We're going to see a lot of people getting killed. I don't know. I always try to think about stuff like that, like those positions. And it's so weird the way, like, we are looked at versus other cultures. You know what I'm saying? Sorry to take your show into that
Nah, you're
direction, but I'm just like,
good.
I was just telling somebody,
Let me
the other day, like we kill each other. Sure, we do have a problem with killing each other. Black on black crime is horrible, and it is going out. It is something that is that shouldn't happen, but of course it does happen. But they fight whole wars. Like, have you ever seen like Ukraine? I mean, you got millions of white people dying, killing each other, but for them it's a war and it's justified. For us, it's just thugging. you
I
know
mean,
what I'm saying?
like I said, like I've told one person, the difference between Crips and Bloods and Democrats and Republicans is the suit. It's just the suit that they wear.
Yep,
That,
yep,
that that's it. Like think
yep.
about it. Crip Bloods bang to the right. Republicans lean to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Crips bang to the left. Democrats lean to the left. You got your
Mm-hmm.
socialists. We'll call the independents your gangster disciples.
Neutrons.
Yeah, your neutrons, your gangster disciples, your Latin kings, and you never know which side they're gonna side on. But you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They each got their own agenda. Again,
So, which gang is the libertarians?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know. Which are libertarians? Any viewers out there, could you help maybe ask that question? Which gang would be the libertarians? It must be like maybe like the Alaskan gang or something, somewhere where they just yeah, whatever.
But
Um,
I'm gonna give you
yeah,
I'm gonna give you the last word. But let me put this out real quick.
go
For
ahead.
those watching, if you could put in the comments and everything, I mean, describe to us the difference between Crips and Bloods and Crips. I mean, Crips and Bloods and Republicans and Democrats. Now, before you get all technical, yes, a Blood and a Crip can shoot up your house and ruin your life, but Democrats and Republicans can put a pen to paper and write a law that will ruin your life. So again, tell
Mhm.
me the difference. I would like to know. But Eric, I mean Shade, I'm gonna give you the last word.
You did it, man. You told. See, that's why I just don't care anymore. It doesn't even make a difference anymore. I don't even care anymore, man. Forget it. Uh, yeah. Club. You see, who's calling me while I'm talking? Hold on. That's my buddy Kyle. Club Geneva right here. Friday nights, 9 p.m. 10 p.m. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I think we restarted, but yeah, please join us. We'd love to have you as a guest. We'd love to have you come on and do a show. If you want to check out podcasting and see if you got it, if you got what it takes, come on. I'll let you run a whole show, and we do our shows virtually, and we also do them in person, but that's just for local artists and performers and podcasters and guests. But Yeah, we love to have you on the show. Please join our community, and that is the Club Geneva Show on YouTube. And if you want to get in contact with me, reach out at clb.geneva@gmail.com. I'm a fast responder. You'll have a conversation with me. I'll throw you on the show in 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Man, all right, y'all heard it. So if you're new to this, go on and hit that like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe button. Be sure to check me out. Be sure to check out Club Geneva. Go show him some love. If you are true to this, still go check out Club Geneva. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this episode. It was live for those who did do ten. For those who were able to tune in, thank you. Please let me know what you think, honey. If you're watching this, I love you. I love your cooking. I love you. You are awesome. All right, y'all. That's all. That's it for me today. Peace.